everybody, welcome back to Chortle Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Jake, and with me as always, nobody, because you're brought into this world alone and you're gonna die in this world alone. Welcome to Chortle Cast. I'm just kidding. Steven is not with me today because he's dead, but he's not dead. He is dealing with his young pup, Flynn. And by young pup, I mean literal puppy, a dog that he has. He is in the process of building a fence and is in a small window of time to complete it. So he has abandoned me, and I am now doing the podcast solo, which means, yes, this is a Jake solo special. I don't have time to make a cool animation for that. So that was your Jake solo special intro music piece. I don't know. Anyway, this is Chortle Cast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about video games, movies, TV shows, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. We got a great show for you this week. I'm going to talk a little bit about some new Xbox Series X news. Talk about some of their it's not special delivery, special something, smart delivery. That's it. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Bob Iger stepping down from CEO of Disney, and then GDC being delayed due to the coronavirus. I told you guys the plague was coming, and here it is. Anyway, before we do any of that, though, I'm gonna mix it up a bit. I'm gonna do catch up at the top of the show. Catch up is where we talk about what we've been playing or watching over the past week. Last podcast, I believe it was, Steven and I talked about how we were going to see the My Hero Academia movie, Hero Rising, I believe is what it was called. Anyway, it was really, really good. I think I talked about last podcast how I'm used to, a 30-minute hit of My Hero Academia goodness every Saturday. And this was just like somebody stuck 3 IVs in me and just let it all go. So I got like a full almost 2-hour hit of My Hero Academia, and it was just so enjoyable to just watch that world and it go on for longer than 24 minutes or whatever it is that we get every Saturday. So we really enjoyed that. Went with Steven and his wife Anna. We had a great time. The only real critique, and I won't get into spoilers, but something happens in the final fight that very much, as Funimation and some of the My Hero Academia Twitters have said, it's one of those. It's a moment that makes you go, "There's no way they were able to get this signed off on, approved. It just is that crazy." But they did it, and it gets undone by the end of the movie. But anyway, because this is kind of a thing that has to stand on its own, right? It's got to be inviting enough that somebody who doesn't watch the show can watch it and be like, "Oh, that was a fun movie," but also give those people who do watch the show something exciting. And it definitely was very, very exciting, and it raised a lot of questions for me, even as somebody who is watching the show, and just a lot of really interesting things happen in the movie. So anyway, all that to say, if you are a My Hero Academia fan and you have a chance to go see the movie, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It is a good, just little nugget of My Hero Academia, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Other things I've been doing, I've been playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. I beat the Ashen Wolves DLC, which of course unlocked new characters for me to recruit in a main story campaign. So I finally decided to help push me through until Animal Crossing comes out it'll be 18 days when this goes live. In 18 days, ladies and gentlemen, my Animal Crossing will be here. I've been playing that to hold me over, so I finally decided to go ahead and start my second playthrough of that game. And even though Golden Deer is by far the best house, and I'll die on that hill, I went with a different house. I went with the Black Eagle house. And I know Steven is rolling over in his grave because he's dead, right? He's not here today. He's dead to us. He's rolling in his grave because he hates Edelgard. And my whole point in doing it, number one, I'm probably not going to finish this campaign. Just to be blunt, I'm probably not going to finish it unless I just go really hard and beat it before Animal Crossing gets here. But I really just kind of wanted to play it just to see a completely different side of the game. Like, I recruited most of the Blue Lions team. I recruited Petra and Dorothea from the Black Eagles in my original playthrough. Those were the only two that I saved from that house. And now that I'm playing it, I'm getting to know Bernadetta, and I'm so upset. I was upset when I played my first campaign that I didn't recruit her. She's one of those characters that I completely forgot about. Because she hides in the monastery. So like you kind of have to go talk to her and like have to pull her out deliberately. And I just completely freaking forgot about her. So I felt so bad when I killed her in my first playthrough. But anyway, she's a great character. Really like her. I'm not a big fan of Ferdinand. But I'm really liking Caspar. He's been a delight. I'm trying to think, I feel like there's another character that's in there in that group. Oh, Linhardt, which I know Steven liked Linhardt. He's pretty good. Not a big fan of Ferdinand. Not a big fan of Edelgard. Like playing the DLC, I was like, okay, maybe I do want to play Edelgard's campaign and see where it takes me. But from the very beginning, you can tell like. And maybe it is because I know what's gonna or I know what does happen. Maybe I'll see it with a different perspective coming from her, being in her class. But I from the very beginning, you kind of see the seeds being planted that she's effing crazy. So I don't know how well I'm gonna do once I get in there. But my plan is to just side with like I want to play just a completely different side of the game. I want to go 100% in with Edelgard, so we'll see where that takes me. But anyway, it's been nice doing a replay through because there are different outfits and there are different locations in the monastery that have been locked that have come out with DLC since I beat the game. But then also like I have been able to use points to buy my support level back with different characters that I played the first time with. So like I've already recruited a lot of my favorite people. My plan is to recruit everyone because I want to save everyone, even though I'm going with Edelgard. I want to recruit everyone and save as many people as I can from the oncoming destruction. But anyway, it's been nice just being able to recruit those people. And then I've got everybody in funny outfits. So it's great. I'm having a great time. A grat Tim. I wish there were better outfits for the main character, though. I cannot get my Byleth out of his normal monastery garbs because everything else that he has, I'm just like, this doesn't look good. Why is this what I'm wearing? So anyway, maybe the girl Byleth just has a better time, but I don't know. I haven't had a good experience with it. But anyway, I've been playing that. Real excited about Animal Crossing. Probably majority of what my time is being put towards is I am following probably every Animal Crossing news Twitter there is. And I know it's not just me. I know Brody, who we started the channel with, who still does some stuff on our Twitter. He is following a lot of those. I know he's very excited. But I have literally, especially the first day of PAX, which was this past weekend, or this past, I guess it was weekend, when Animal Crossing's booth was revealed at PAX and they had a playable demo and like there were all sorts of like little tidbit stuff coming out. I've watched like so many, here's our 20-minute demo from PAX East, whatever. So it's been a great time catching up on that. But I've literally watched so much Animal Crossing content. Like it's really sad to me because I haven't felt this way about a game like where I'm watching every like analyzation of like what did we see in this trailer, and I haven't done that since like Breath of the Wild, and like I'm not realistically expecting Animal Crossing to be like on a Breath of the Wild level for me. I think what it is I've been so excited about this game, and it was supposed to be out last year and that didn't happen, so it got postponed. And then for whatever reason, I feel like March 20th has been tomorrow for like the last month. So I don't know why my brain is just like, yeah, that's tomorrow. Yeah, that comes out tomorrow. Yeah, that comes out this Friday. Like, yeah, that comes out whenever. But my brain cannot get past that. So March 20th cannot come fast enough, but it is getting closer and closer. This weekend, I streamed Dreams. Got to see a lot of really, really cool Dreams creations. There was a really good one that was about Humpty Dumpty. And it's great. It's like a little animated thing that someone did. I highly recommend you go watch it. We had some of you tune in and offer up some suggestions, so that was a lot of fun. So be sure, if you are doing something in Dreams, to tune into our show, Me Your Dreams streams. Those are usually a weekend stream. It's usually something I'm doing. One of these days I'm going to get Steven in on it as well, but we've kind of been tossing back and forth. We haven't done a stream where we were both together in a while, because we're kind of, hey, if you can take Tuesday, I can take Thursday, or hey, can you take both Tuesdays? I got to work this weekend. So there's a lot of that going on, but hopefully I hope things will calm down, but I don't know that they will, because I'm about to get into wedding season. It's going to be crazy. But anyway, be sure to tune into those streams when you next can. But let's jump into the news a little bit. So to just kind of jump to what really happened earlier on this week, Bob Iger, who has been the CEO of Disney, the Walt Disney Company, since 2005, has stepped down. He was around for the acquisition of Marvel and Lucasfilms, and has gotten the company through a lot of stuff. He was originally set to retire in the summer of 2018, but the board of directors extended his contract to 2019 to oversee the acquisition of Fox. And then that contract was extended even further to 2021, but obviously he has stepped down. The other thing that's interesting about this is effective immediately, right? So he is done. A different Bob, I'm trying to scroll to find his name, Bob Chapek, I think is how you say his name, Chapek. Who has been the executive over Disney Parks and Experiences. I think that's the term that he has. Anyway, he is stepping up again, effective immediately. So very, very interesting. Iger is going to continue his role as an executive member of the board, like I guess the Disney Board of Supervisors, whatever that is, however that works. So he's not completely gone, but he has stepped down effective immediately. Since I don't have Steven, I don't really have anyone to like bounce this off of, but I just thought this was very interesting. I've been waiting and kind of holding my breath all week for like a Me Too kind of moment of like somebody accused him of something or whatever. And like, nothing like that has come out. Nothing like, this is not me saying that has happened. I've been waiting for that. I'm glad nothing has come out. I'm glad nothing has come out because I don't want there to be a negative reason for why he's had to do this. But if there really is something, I hope it does eventually come out and we find out about it, because that stuff doesn't need to be just swept under the rug and whatever. But anyway, just very, very interesting to see Disney go through some change, but maybe it'll be for the best. So anyway, moving on to other news that I thought was interesting this week. So Xbox announced a lot of details about their Xbox Series X, but it's a lot of nerdy stuff like teraflops and I don't know, like all this technical stuff that I frankly don't care about. Like, yeah, it's going to be better than this gen. I get it. Whatever. Fine. Sure. But the big thing that they announced, again, a lot of it was big, but kind of the thing that a lot of people have been catching on to is they announced this new, system or ideal called Smart Delivery. Smart Delivery will allow players of both current and next gen versions to cross generation games for the price of a single purchase, which in a real technical term is saying if I buy a game on Xbox One that is playable on Xbox Series X, if I buy the Xbox One version, I can upgrade to the Series X version for free. Like that's just an update or a patch or whatever you want to call it that I have to download, right? Or I don't even know if you have to download it or how it's going to work exactly. But basically, they said gamers shouldn't, or well, actually, so a great example of, Jake, what are you talking about? Don't we have backwards compatibility? Isn't that the same thing? No. A great example of this is Cyberpunk tweeted right after Xbox announced this. They said gamers should never be forced to purchase the same game twice or pay for upgrades. Owners of Cyberpunk 2077 for the Xbox One will receive the Xbox Series X upgrade for free when available. Crazy. So I assume there will be some sort of download that has to happen to make that work. But basically, if you're somebody, and I personally am one of these people, I'm looking at this year and I'm looking at, okay, the Series X is coming out in November. The PlayStation 5 is coming out in November. All these games, big games. I mean, even Ghost of Tsushima, Cyberpunk 2077. There's a lot of games that are coming out just before the consoles are launched that like they're not so close that I've been debating. I haven't been debating. Oh, am I going to wait a month to play this on the new console, or am I just going to get it and play it now? Because I'll probably beat it in a month. But if you're one of those people that have been thinking that, now, at least on your Xbox, if you buy Cyberpunk 2077 on your Xbox One, you can upgrade when you get your Series X, and you can get the Series X version of that game. That's just crazy. It's never worked this way. I think it makes the most sense for things to work this way. This is a huge deal that Xbox is taking this initiative to basically just break down a barrier. All first party games are going to work like this for Xbox. And obviously this is something that will only really be a big deal for probably the first year or two of the lifespan of this console, right? Maybe a little longer, but really at some point all games are just going to be coming out to one system or the other. But who knows? Maybe it's as much as they are trying to make this a smooth transition between the current generation and the next generation. Maybe this will be in effect for the whole time. But either way, that's how all first party games are. If a developer wants to do the same, Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red, great example, they can match that as well and allow for people to do that. So all I'm saying is Xbox set the bar high for Sony with how to deal with their games on PS4 going to PS5. I mean, they really, really set that bar high. I am a diehard PlayStation fanboy, and I am on the, I don't know if on the verge of tears is the right word, but like I'm anxiously awaiting what Sony is going to say. And ultimately, I think that's the thing that's really just driving me, and I'm sure you and a lot of other podcasts that I listen to. What's driving us all crazy right now is we know nothing about, I mean, we know technical details about the PS5, but we don't know things like, are they going to do smart delivery? How's backwards compatible going to work? We know you're trying to do it. You've said you're going to do it, but then you kind of backtracked on some things. Like, where is it all landing? So I can't wait for PlayStation to come out and say something. And I feel like the longer both of these companies wait, the more this is just going to kind of continue to spiral. But at the same time, we're so far away from the launch and the release that, you know, they can take their time if they really want to. But PlayStation's really, really going to have to come out and really, really hit it hard, because Xbox set the bar for them that if Sony doesn't match this, in my opinion, they're going to get laughed out of town, especially if they don't match some other stuff like Xbox Game Pass. If they don't do something that can compete with that, and if they don't do this smart delivery system, like I really feel like people who are on the fence, or people who even have both systems, I feel like they're going to laugh Sony out of town. So I really hope they're paying attention. And then also for Cyberpunk, I think CD Projekt Red, I feel like they've really set the bar for third-party developers. Now, if you're a third-party developer and you're making a game that you're going to release an Xbox One version, but then you're going to do an Xbox Series X version, I don't know that third-party people are going to be laughed out of town, but I think a lot of people are going to be like, well, CD Projekt Red let us do this, whatever. So it's really going to look bad for other developers if they don't kind of follow along with this. So anyway, very interesting developments. Cannot wait to hear more from the PS5 and see if they can somehow combat this. I mean, they're really going to have to match, at the very least, a lot of what Xbox is doing. Again, for me personally, content is king. Sony has the games I want to play. Xbox doesn't right now, but Xbox has a lot of other enticing services that I wish would come to PlayStation. I would be a lot happier of a PlayStation owner if they would bend to some of that. So anyway, next let's talk about GDC. So we've already talked a little bit about in last week's podcast about Sony dropped out of PAX, they dropped out of GDC. We talked about Facebook dropping out of GDC. Since we last spoke, a lot of people have dropped out of GDC, which is the Game Developers Conference that happens in San Diego, I think. Anyway, basically, several other people have dropped out. Microsoft dropped out. A couple Chinese developers dropped out. There were a lot of people who just were not coming, and so the people who kind of run GDC, they made an announcement after close consultation with our partners in the game development industry and communities around the world. We've made the difficult decision to postpone GDC this March. Having spent the past year prepping for the show with our advisory board, speakers, exhibitors, and event planners, we are genuinely upset and disappointed not to be able to host you at this time. The statement goes on to say, fully intend to host GDC event later in the summer. However, it is unclear what the size or scope of the show is intended to be in comparison to the now canceled one. They will be working with partners to finalize the details, and we'll share more information about our plans in the coming weeks. So GDC was not canceled, but postponed due to the coronavirus. Which is just crazy, just scary. Like I said last week, I don't fault any of these companies for or development teams for just not wanting to risk it. How serious you think the coronavirus may be or may not be, the fact is people have died, and there are lots of statistics about, pre-existing health conditions and where they were in age. And, there's lots of factors. And so you may or may not be concerned about it at this point. But like I said, the simple fact of the matter is people have died. So is it worth taking a risk? Is it worth taking that trip? That's up to each individual person to make that decision for themselves. And I feel like as an employer, you kind of I can't imagine if I, was an employer and I said, look, tough nuggets, dude, you've got to go to this conference. And then they caught a disease and died. That would mean even just, let's take there being a virus that's going around right now. And I don't know that we're quite to plague levels yet, but if there wasn't even a big scare, if something happened, they went on this trip, got this thing, that would be, I would feel so guilty as an employer. So I don't fault any of these people for doing it. And to the same tune, I think the GDC folks had to do what they had to do. I mean, they had so many people drop out, and I'm sure we're starting to see attendance from just folks that were coming to the conference. I'm sure a lot of that was starting to drop. And so it really was just kind of it would be better to cancel or not cancel, but postpone this as best we can. Now, the thing my other kind of hot take on this is, they're saying they're going to try to do this into the summer. E3 is in the summer. So how's that going to work? And then also a lot of people have been kind of looking to E3. This virus situation is not getting better by any stretch. Again, whether you're worried about it yet or not is your own ball game, but it's not exactly getting better yet. I don't think we're over that hump. So I'm a little nervous looking to E3. What's going to happen there? Are people going to start canceling out of E3? Are people still going to be concerned about this in a few months? I don't know. So just kind of something to watch out and look out for. That plague is coming. I don't mean it gesturally. I mean, be careful. Wash your hands. Take certain precautions. If you're going to a different country, I highly recommend buying like I think it's called an N12 or an N99 mask. That's a mask that has carbon in it that, I bought just like plain old medical masks for my trip to Vegas in a few weeks for a conference. And I'm nervous about that. I'm almost kind of hoping it does get canceled because I don't want to risk it any more than I have. But I'm going to reorder an N12 mask, which is one that you wear if you're not sick. If you are sick, wearing one of those medical masks is a good precaution to not infect others. But get you an N99 mask. That'll be a good precaution to take. And anyway, just stay aware, be aware, because you don't know what's going on out there. And just people are nasty in general. You know what I mean? We're just gross people. We're just gross humans. All right. There's everywhere. Poop's everywhere. You know what I mean? Just poop is everywhere. That's all I got. That's all I know. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for watching this episode of Chortle Cast. This Jake solo special. That was my attempt to do my jingle again. I know I didn't do it right, but that's okay. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, there's a couple things you can do to help us out. Number one, if you're watching on YouTube, you're already at chortlegames.com. You can like this video, subscribe to the channel for more goofy content and game stuff. You can share this video with your friends, leave us a comment, all that good jazz. If you're on Facebook, you're watching us at Chortle Games on Facebook. You can like this page, share the video with your friends, leave us a comment there as well. We'd love to hear from you. And then we also have a Twitch. We can't do the podcast on Twitch just yet because this is a pre-recorded premiere that we do for the podcast, and we can't do that on Twitch yet. But if you want to watch us on Twitch, go over to Twitch, Chortle_games, and follow us, like us, subscribe to us, whatever you got to do. If you got that Amazon Prime, I don't know if you can give that to us yet, but feel free to try. And that'll help us get to the point where we can actually start premiering this there as well. But anyway, do all that. We'd appreciate it. We'd also encourage you to join our Discord. You can get to that in the description of any of these videos. Audio listeners as well, you can get to that in the description of this audio podcast. But join us there. We put what we're streaming usually in a night. We put that in a vote. You can vote there what you want to see us play. There's all sorts of good stuff going on there. So we post memes, funny bits, just general chat. We got a good group in there right now. So jump in and hang out with us there as well. The podcast is not the only thing we do here on the channel. The podcast airs every Monday at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. But we also live stream on Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, Friday nights, and Saturday nights. So because Steven is dead, I do not know who is streaming on Tuesday or Thursday. We have not discussed it. I would tell you to expect Steven on Tuesday and Thursday night, and look out for me on either Friday or Saturday, or maybe both. Who knows? We'll see what my schedule goes. I got to talk it over with Steven. If I end up doing multiple streams, I might see if I can convince Steven to do a Dreams stream with me, and then I might put it to a vote for the other stream for me one of those days. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you all. Be sure, again, to be safe out there. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Do whatever you feel like you got to do. Just wash your hands at the very least. Keep playing video games. We'll see you around. Bye.